It's only been 2 weeks since Trump's landslide victory, and migrants are deporting themselves. Locals say the Haitians who settled in Springfield, Ohio, have already started shipping out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a mass exodus after Trump confirmed he'll use the military to carry out mass deportations. People take Trump at his word. He's saying we can do this the easy way, or we're going to do this the hard way. The illegals know the jig's up. If Borders Czar Kamala projected the same kind of strength, we wouldn't have a bloodthirsty gang infiltrating 15 states and counting. Instead, her legacy is going to be supporting sanctuary cities that protect tens of thousands of criminal illegals from deportation and letting the cartels man the border. But Democrats on the committee chose to attack the witness rather than fix the problem. That's their MO. One California Democrat's falsely claiming that Trump is deporting doctors.
The mass deportations are going to have a negative impact on the U.S. economy. But it's also about lives and family and people who've been contributing to this country for years and decades. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. Some of these people are doctors and our nurses.
All right, Trump's not deporting your doctor unless he's in MS-13. Still out of touch, blue state politicians are digging in. They're going to promise to protect illegals no matter what.
The idea of calling out, the army into the domestic confines of the United States seems uncalled for and may in fact be unconstitutional and illegal.
But AOC thinks protecting illegals doesn't go far enough. She wants mass amnesty for all of them.
We agree. Being undocumented is a problem. But our solution, instead of turning the military on our own people, is to document them. To document the undocumented. Pretty simple.
Incoming Trump border czar Tom Homan is here. Tom, first of all, congratulations. When you hear these Democrat governors and people like AOC saying that they're going to block any attempt to deport, what's your reaction?
They're obviously not very smart because President Trump is clear. Out of the gate, we're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. What politician, whether you're a mayor or a governor, is saying, no, I want public safety threats to remain in my community? I mean, give me a break. But, ICE is going to do it. And here's the thing. They don't let us in the county jail to arrest the bad guy, which means they're going to release the bad guy back in the community, put the immigrant community at greater risk of crime. It forces ICE agents into the community, which puts ICE agents at danger, but it also puts the immigrant community at danger because when we find a bad guy, and we will, there's going to be others with him, others that weren't even on our radar. So what they're saying is they're going to force us in the neighborhood to arrest more illegal aliens than what we originally planned to do. So their idea is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're going to invite more federal strength into those communities, and you're just going to wind up grabbing more of them and deporting them. AOC is saying the answer is mass amnesty. I mean, it would save you a lot of work, but what do you say to her?
It's ridiculous. You're going to reward illegal behavior. You award amnesty, you're never going to fix the border. This country's shown over and over again that if you don't have consequences, they're going to keep coming. Awarding amnesty means millions of them are going to come saying, look, I can cross the border legally. I can lose my case in front of an immigration judge, and I still get to stay. And that's what people don't understand. People say mass deportation is a bad thing. No, we just had historic illegal crisis on the border. Millions of people crossed the border illegally. Every one of them committed a crime by crossing the border illegally. If you look at the immigration stats, 9 out of 10 of them will get an order removal. They have to be executed, because if we don't execute those orders, then what the hell are we doing, Jesse? Just shut down the immigration court. Doesn't mean anything anymore. Take the border patrol off the border because there's no consequences. The law is clear. Now, we'll give you a due process. You can have your day in court, but when your order removed, you're going to leave, and we're going to make you leave.
Are you going to deport doctors? They're saying that there's going to be migrant doctors in the middle of surgery, and ICE is just going to be dragging them out in their scrubs. Have you heard of that happening?
I have never heard of that happening. I heard the other day that we're going to deport U.S. citizens, too. I heard that one. But look, public safety threats, national security threats, fugitives, those who had due process at great taxpayer expense were ordered removed and went into hiding, fugitives. And look, if you're in the country legally, You're not off the table. It's not okay to cross this border. It's a crime. Every illegal alien that crossed that border committed a crime. And it's not okay if you be in this country illegally. Well, it's not okay to be in this country illegally. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem.
Sanctuary city leaders are gearing up to resist Trump's mass deportation force as justice finally comes for the illegal immigrant monster who brutally murdered nursing student Laken Riley. A judge in Georgia taking less than 20 minutes to find Jose Ibarra guilty of murder, sentencing the Venezuelan national who should have never been in this country in the first place to the maximum of life in prison without parole. Ibarra sat emotionless in court as he listened to the heartbreaking victim impact statements from Laken's friends and family.
If you had the ability to bring her back out of all this, I would give up every earthly possession I have to see her infectious smile, hear her contagious laugh, and her infamous love you girl.
As a father, I am forever burdened with the pain of losing my child. I will spend the rest of my life trying to navigate this grief, trying to make sense of the world that took my daughter from our family. But I will never forget.
Laken Riley's story is a gut punch reminder of why the majority of Americans back President-elect Trump's plan for mass deportations. Ibarra was a member of the bloodthirsty Tren de Aragua gang, which DHS claims has spread to over 17 states and counting. But all the Democrats want to do is resist. Los Angeles City Council approving a, quote, sanctuary city ordinance preventing any cooperation with federal authorities. And other liberal governors and mayors are speaking out against the plan, against Trump's plan.
We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities. It harms communities. It tears families apart. And we're not going to that's not going to happen on my watch.
What we can do is make sure that we are doing our part to protect our residents in every possible way, that we are not cooperating with those efforts that actually threaten the safety of everyone by causing widespread fear.
Okay, what we've got is this Jose Ibarra. He's illegal. He didn't belong here in the first place. He commits 2 crimes, endangering the welfare of a child, shoplifting, and we, of course, fly him free to Georgia. He goes there, kills a woman, has no remorse at all about it, and he is a member of Tren de Aragua. There's no vetting. There's no nothing. But now we hear that the Democrat governors like Pritzker and Katie Hobbs from Arizona, Michelle Wu, they're like, no, we're going to fight this. We don't want anyone being deported. Then why wouldn't they come out and say, as opposed to saying, I will not let my police department give information to ICE, why wouldn't these alleged good Democrats who care about Americans say, we will cooperate if and give information if it involves a convicted felon, a sex offender, or someone who has already had a final order of deportation? Well, they could say that it easily.
I just heard you say slip through the cracks, Jessica, and I think that would be assuming there was a wall. There's no slipping through cracks. I mean, there are many of these people who are here. Paul Morrow joined me directly following his sentencing today, and he said after walking that same jogging trail where she was brutally murdered by this monster in this heinous act, he said, Paul Morrow, there are more of them, and they target women. And you look at him sitting in that courtroom today, as we did for a solid hour during our show this afternoon. He showed zero emotion. And it tells you a lot about this man. And the reason why they're able to carry out these horrific murders, because they don't value human life. He doesn't value his own, as he is sentenced to life in prison without parole. And he certainly did not respect life in the form of Laken Riley. That mother in that courtroom today was burying her head in her hands. She was inconsolable, as our producer in that courtroom was detailing. This could have been settled down in Georgia, right? But he presumed his innocence all the way through, took this through trial. The victims that spoke out in that courtroom, it was chilling. Her sorority sisters, her roommates, her friends, her sister, who is now an only child. It was heart-wrenching to watch this. And so, Jessica, I mean, what we saw in this election was people who saw cases like this rise to the forefront And they said, this cannot happen where we live. This girl, this nursing student, went out for a run one day and wound up dead. And that story ended up in living rooms all over this country. And people said, that's enough.
You know, Greg, two things. There is an intel memo in the intelligence memo that says that as more Venezuelans continue to populate the United States, there is an even greater chance that TDA becomes increasingly increases its number. Why are we not vetting these people?
Well, I don't think we have to. I think we have the solution. We know. We send them to Mayor Michelle Wu's house. If she's vowing not to cooperate with deporting illegal aliens, well, now we know where to send them. We send them not to their cities, but to their homes. And every time that criminal leaves the city block, you put him back on. I will pay for the bus tickets. I'm happy to do that. If Wu wants to be a hero under her fake virtue signaling, then she should absorb both the risk and the responsibility for the public stance that she's taking. You know, this is a moment in time where you wish there was a death penalty, but perhaps there will be an inmate in that facility who will step in to fill that hole and take care of business. You know, Wu and others should consider themselves lucky that Ibarra wasn't sent to Boston, where she could have been nearly raped and murdered. It's amazing that a woman can take that kind of stance in a situation where another woman is murdered. It could have been Michelle Wu. Could have been. Does she have a daughter? I don't know. I didn't do that research. I don't care. But if you want totalitarianism, talk about putting ideology before the needs of citizens. You know, it's not like these politicians didn't know that the migrant crisis was causing a depletion of resources from the citizens and putting their lives at risk. They know that, but they also realize that these are the eggs that they are willing to break to preserve an allegiance to their ideology. This is not an authentic virtue signaling, oh, we feel this compassion. They are basically doing this for some reason. Maybe it's because they think that they cannot be aligned with the other side. But the Dems need to define what mass deportation is. What's your number? What number are you comfortable with? Because if you can't give a number, we're going to do it. We're going to shut off the border. We're going to remove the criminals, followed by the illegals who just got in. And then we're going to stop when it's under control. Because it's not a social question. It's an economic one. How much can your city, your suburb, or your state can handle? You don't know economics. You don't even know how to protect your citizens. You're no longer welcome at the table. Bus them to Michelle Wu's house.
I'll help pay too.
Yes.
By the way, there should be a death penalty if an illegal kills an American citizen. It's time. She had a right to be there. He did not.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
Exodus. Exodus. Jigs up. Jigs up. Infiltrate. Infiltrate. Amnesty. Amnesty. Fugitives. Fugitives. Infectious. Infectious. Contagious. Contagious. Infamous. Infamous. Inconsolable. Inconsolable. Depletion. Depletion. Sorority. Sorority. Fake virtue signaling. Fake virtue signaling. Allegiance. Allegiance.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.